Welcome into episode 20 of the Middle of Nowhere Gaming podcast. We just told some stupid jokes and had a good laugh, and Brendan's crying. So, he's not crying.
That's every day.
That's every day,
You pull this crap every week.
I love messing with you. So, yeah, you can hear. I have my partner in crime, Brendan. Yeah?
Hello.
Hello. And my Nintendo Ninja, Lou.
Hey, guys.
And the newest addition to the MONG team, Johnny, who I don't have a nickname for yet.
Story of my life.
And now I can hear a car alarm coming from one of you guys.
That's me. What's up, everybody?
Bringing
I
car
live in a
alarms.
great part of town.
Yeah, bringing car alarms from North Carolina.
Johnny is just nonchalantly stealing cars while he's doing this podcast. Don't worry about it, everyone.
Fuck it.
It's a wireless headset. You'd be surprised at the range.
So how about you tell our listeners a little about yourself?
I'm out here in North Carolina. We had that lovely snowstorm recently. I've been doing the gaming thing for a while. Started with the Atari 2600 way back when. Pitfall.
Wow.
Yeah, way back when, like in the 80s. When the movies were great, like Ghostbusters and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Did that for a while. Obviously, I sat there. I consider myself console agnostic. Play a little bit of everything, a little bit of Xbox, a little bit of PlayStation, a little bit of Nintendo. I definitely have favorites and opinions, on where sort of they all stand at this point. But I try to be open-minded. I figure the more you play, the more different things you play, the better off you are. More well-rounded.
Yeah.
Try to live my life the same way. So I eat a lot of different stuff. So I'm pretty fat.
Aren't
I'm just
we
kidding.
all?
I'm just kidding. If you saw a picture of me, I'm really skinny. It's sort of absurd. I have an ultra high metabolism. I stuff my face with bagel bites and nothing happens. It's sort of a joy.
And ladies, he's single. Are you single? I don't know.
Ladies, I am single. So
all one lady listener.
Here's Johnny.
Lady, he's single.
Have you met me?
Okay. Well, anything else? Anything
I
crazy?
mean,
How about give us a unique fact about yourself? Something other than you're skinny and have a
I hate when
metabolism.
people do
What
this.
is this? Are we reading the syllabus for this?
Yes. He has to introduce himself just like we did.
I feel like I did, but fine. All right, random fact. I play the drum set.
Oh, really?
Pretty well, actually.
I don't. So
Performing flamadiddles all across the...
I had a small scholarship for it in college.
Oh, nice. I
right?
had no idea.
I was talented enough that they were like, you want some money for that? And I was like, yeah, sure, fine.
Whatever.
And then I went and I took their money and studied history and religion. So good times.
Good times.
Yeah, it's related, kind of.
Sort of to music. Not too much of a stretch.
Okay, so things worth mentioning this week. We have two of them, or I have two of them. I don't know about you guys. But one, we need to give a shout out to Tom Shockey. We assume your name is Tom and not Thom. We had a discussion over this.
Apologies to Thom.
Yeah, apologies to Thom if that's your name. But you are the one who added us all to PlayStation Network and gave us a shout out and stuff. So again, thank you for adding us and stuff. Hopefully you're not mad that we just mentioned your name on the podcast. Whatever. So keep being awesome. Next, after we are done with the actual episode 20 of the podcast, whenever we play the outro and everything like that, we're going to keep recording after that, and we're going to record a spoiler cast for The Last of Us Left Behind. So if you want to listen to that, then keep listening past the post scene or whatever, or the credits or the song or whatever's at the end, If you don't, then, we'll give you fair warning right before it's about to happen so that you can turn it off or listen to it later or whatever. But, so yeah, warning, that's going to happen, but it won't happen for, probably an hour, so...
Right. And to be fair,
Ooh,
it's
hold
going to
on,
be a
hold
lot less.
Hey, Lou, hold on. Your quality really sounds really bad. Really bad? Really bad.
Yeah.
Crap.
You have
All right,
white
1
noise in your throat.
All right, talk to us.
How am I sounding now?
Better.
Okay.
Perfect.
Better?
Sexy.
Okay, what were you saying?
I'm saying, to be fair, it's going to be a lot less of a spoiler cast and a lot more of me and Courtney just yelling at each other.
Yeah, it's probably going to be that.
Don't forget to turn your
So like
volume
every
down,
other
everybody.
podcast.
Bazinga, you're funny, Brendan. You're funny. Do you guys have anything worth mentioning? Anything crazy happened this week? Anything?
I won a Twitter contest and won a $500 lens from Sony.
Yeah, I saw that. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
I don't really want it. If I'm gonna be completely honest. I entered it because it was like an I Spy competition. I used to really love those books. And I just happened to win it, and it's a professional lens that you put on the back of your smartphone camera. So it's completely impractical. Pretty cool, but impractical. And I'm probably just gonna sell it and get an Xbox One.
I like it.
Capitalism.
You're letting Sony pay for your Xbox. So
Exactly.
That's cool.
I think that's just slightly disrespectful.
We don't like to be
Sellout.
fanboys. Come on now.
It burns a little for them, but that's been my week.
You should email them back and tell them.
Yeah. Look what I got. Thank you, Brennan. Anything happened this week? Nothing.
Nope.
Nothing. Nothing exciting. You
I
beat
still-
Fable.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
You beat Fable Anniversary.
That was awesome.
Exciting. I'm looking forward to your review. Can't wait to read that. Johnny, anything exciting happened this week other than snow or whatever?
I mean, honestly, my life is relatively boring, so no, got nothing here really.
Now it's
Nothing to point
exciting.
out.
You're on a team.
Totally,
You're on a
it's
team.
true.
Yeah.
Love teams.
Teams. Teamwork.
They're the best.
Team on
Do
three.
you guys?
1, 2,
No.
3. No.
Nothing.
Oh.
Mm.
Shirts versus
Team.
skins.
Oh, you're funny. What were you saying though?
I got nothing. No, you're good.
No?
Keep going.
All right, let's just
Keep
fucking
rolling.
let's move on.
keep freaking rolling.
We're moving into the news from nowhere. Da da da. I don't really have anything yet.
No.
Wow.
Johnny, that's on you. That's your homework.
Yeah. Fucking come up with a jingle or something.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine. Done.
We need
Challenge
songs and
accepted.
jingles. Oh, ooh, okay. I like where your Barney impression. It's good.
Thank you.
Okay, so first on the news, The Evil Within has a release date. It will be coming out August 26th in North America for PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PC. Holy shit, that's a lot. And then 3 days later, on August 29th, it'll be out in Europe.
Suck it, Europe.
Yeah. Ha! I'm not going to say that. We have a lot of European listeners. Why would we do that?
Plus, they get all their movies before us, guys. Like, just come on now.
Yeah. If you don't know, The Evil Within is the latest horror game from Resident Evil creator Shinji Mikami. I
So
can't talk.
you're going to be watching the shoulder of the protagonist with the implication of the horror monster, right?
You're funny. Resident Evil 4?
And like all of them.
No, it wasn't always over the shoulder. I don't believe.
I
No.
Like Resident Evil, the one between like 5 and 6 or something, or 4 and 5 that recently came out.
Between 4
I
and
don't
5.
know.
What?
Come on,
Oh, okay.
Raccoon City, maybe.
Operation
No,
Raccoon
that
City? No, that was
Operation Raccoon City was a
First-person
different.
shooter.
That was when you
That was
went
the
on-
third person.
you went
It
on
was a
this
different
cruise ship
company.
as Jill Valentine.
Got it.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember the title of that one, though. Fuck it. It doesn't matter.
The one on the
Anyways.
ship was Revelations.
Yes,
Oh, that-
there you
that
go.
one.
It was a 3DS game first, wasn't it? And then it got
Yeah,
ported.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I'm glad we could come to the conclusion for that one. Thank you, guys. We solved a problem.
I shouldn't have said anything.
So yeah, are you guys gonna get The Evil Within?
I have no money.
Maybe.
You have no money. Of course, Brendan's never gonna get another game until I buy it or rent it and lend it to him.
I pay you back eventually, but in like small increments of $20.
Oh god. No, I'm probably gonna get it. I mean, I like scary games. Apparently, I've been playing more and more over the past year. Even though
Why do that to yourself?
I know. I always say I hate it, but then I play every one of them. So, whatever.
Even when I was 7 and I played Ocarina of Time, I quit because I saw the like zombies, and I couldn't play the Shadow Temple because of it.
Oh, poor baby. Poor Brendan.
Never again.
Johnny, you gonna
Never
play?
even. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I mean, Shinji Mikami has a great track record. But the fact is, like, I mean, it has nothing to do with Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But Resident Evil 6, 5, really everything after 4 has been pretty much
Crap.
piss poor, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
It's not Resident
And so-
Evil anymore.
It's not, and he has nothing to do with it. But it's still like the moment I hear his name, I instantly associate it with that. So I'm tentatively excited. I'd like to see where he's going with this. I mean, the stuff they've shown so far is completely fucked up,
Yeah.
and that speaks to a very dark part of me. But I'm like, yeah.
I'm into this.
I'm into this. Yeah,
Wait, what
right.
have they shown so far? They had that live action trailer, right?
Yeah.
They showed a little bit of gameplay, like at E3. At least there were some impressions that a lot of the major outlets got. The guys had a little bit of hands-on time.
I remember the Vine that they sent out or whatever, the first release or whatever about it. The very first thing, and everyone was freaking out. What's the next game or what is it going to be? And it ended up being this one.
That was such a weird marketing campaign early on.
Really
it's like, hey, here's barbed wire. Does that scare you?
Guess what this is?
It's like a bad '90s metal concert.
I didn't realize that Mikami actually was on Dino Crisis as well. I remember playing that back in the day.
That was actually supposed to be a Resident Evil game, much like Devil May Cry, except they went ahead and rebranded it when they found out that this was probably not. No, that's not really a Resident Evil game. It has dinosaurs.
It's dinosaurs. They're not zombies.
True side note: I would love to have another Dino Crisis game.
Oh, absolutely! I played Dino Crisis 1 and 2 back when they were first released. So, some of my favorite games.
Just more dinos. Never a bad thing.
I like dinosaurs. So let's move on. Number 2 on the news.
Only number 2.
Only number 2. We're only to number 2. Yep. NIS America. NIS in America. Blah, blah, blah. I am not talking correctly. Fuck it. I can't stop. Blah! NIS America is bringing 4 new games to the West. They are Battle Princess of Arcadias, Disgaea 4, A Promise Revisited, Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, and Fairy Fencer F. Huh.
Fairy Fencer F.
Yeah, that's actually the most exciting one on there for me. Or I'm the most excited about that one.
Whatever, man. Danganronpa. That's where it's at. Only for the name.
Yeah, just for the name. If anybody wants a full description of the games, go to our website, middleofnowheregaming.com, where I had a write-up on them earlier this week or last week. I don't even remember. It's been a while. But yeah, so you guys going to play some NIS America games?
What does that stand for?
I think.
Do we know?
Nichon Ippii something.
Okay, so something.
Nippon Ichi Studio, I think.
Something
Systems,
like that.
something like that.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to get into what's the D one?
Disgaea?
Disgaea. Yeah, I always pronounce it wrong.
Those are strategy RPG games.
Yeah, which I love, and I've been meaning to do it, and I have them all downloaded on my PSP Go. I've just never gotten. It's in my backlog. It's far down in my backlog. I'm gonna do it eventually.
Yeah. It stands for Nippon Ichi Software.
Okay.
There you go. The more you know.
Yep, the more you know. There you guys go. But yeah, all these games are like niche market games. Not a whole lot of people buy them and play them, but they do have huge fan bases. So like the fans that are there are strong. Really, really passionate about these games. So, how about Brendan? You covered number 3.
Okay, Metal Gear Solid 5 will be 1080p on the PS4 and 720p on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
They'll both run at 60 frames per second on next-gen consoles, run at 30 FPS and at 720p on PS3 and Xbox 360. Kojima said, being asked so often about the differences in frame rate and resolution depending on the hardware model makes little sense to me, but I listened, so I plan to publish it tomorrow. And then he laughed.
Yeah, this is a common story now. Like every game on all the platforms are saying the same thing. It's 1080p on PlayStation 4, and it's either 720 or 900p on Xbox One, and then it's like 720 on the current gen console or last gen consoles, whatever we want to call it now. So this still doesn't bother me at all. I don't know about you guys.
No, I mean these games have been in development for years, and I think that with 2 years of not necessarily knowing the console yet, I think we're going to see the games get to 1080p on the Xbox One, and until then, I couldn't tell the difference.
I mean, that's my thing. The fact is, most of us, I would assume, probably don't have a big enough TV where 1080p really looks that much different.
Yeah.
I mean, you might notice like, oh, it looks a little bit crisper, but the fact of the matter is, like 1080p doesn't really make that large of a difference until you're starting to hit probably 55 to 56 inch TVs, and then at that point, you're like, oh, that's when you start seeing a difference. But your average household is a smaller TV than that, and most people, if they have one of these systems, are going to be playing on something like that. And I mean, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I mean, yeah, it's great for Flame Wars. It's like, oh, look, Xbox and Sony fanboy dudes. But I mean, frankly, this is like run-of-the-mill stuff at this point. Yeah, I think just about every multi-plat game that's been announced recently has been like, yes, by the way, 1080 on the PS4, 720 on the Xbox.
and they're going to play well on either of them.
Exactly. It's like they're not going to break, so enjoy them. Like
exactly.
Right.
Unless it's Tomb Raider, because apparently that broke.
that broke.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I know that I've been saying I really don't care about this, but I think the biggest argument that people are making is that if this is the beginning of the life cycle and it's having difficulty with resolution, what happens when you're later down the console life cycle and you have these giant games? Like there's a large disparity between what was first on the PS3, like Lair or Call of Duty 2, and Last of Us at the end of it. What happens when we have these much more technical games taking up a lot more memory, a lot more CPU? Will the Xbox be able to support that?
I think eventually, once they figure out to stop fucking using the Kinect for stupid shit and all that, their allocation of RAM is horrible right now. They need to figure everything out.
We're really objective right now.
Does anyone over the age of 10 use the Kinect on a regular basis?
Well, I know a lot of stupid people.
I hear that it's a lot of fun though to snap back and forth. I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, and I'm not saying that Xbox is stupid by any means. I love Xbox and I have a 360 and I plan to get an Xbox One. I don't know. It just feels so much like the PlayStation, kind of like you were mentioning how the on multi-platform games back on last generation, PlayStation was shit on for everything. Oh, well, Madden looks terrible on the PlayStation because, we had to develop it for the lesser console, which was the 360.
That's because Madden looks terrible on every console.
Well, it kind of did for a while. But, I think that Microsoft is going to figure it out eventually. And it's not even Microsoft. It's the third parties that are doing this because Rise looks amazing. The first-party games for Microsoft look good. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, a few of them run at 1080p, I believe.
None of them do as of yet. I think they all tap out. I think they all tap out at 9, or 920. There was one that recently got announced. I was like, yeah, they're 930, and I was like, okay, that's good. Good number.
Yeah. Either way, I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. I think they're going to figure it out because the Xbox One is a hell of a piece of hardware. It's not that much different from the PlayStation 4. And so if anything, they're going to scale it or something.
It's slightly more rectangular.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Brendan.
Hey, pointing out some hardware differences.
Okay. Well,
all right, so how about we move on to the next one?
What?
It means it can hold more peas.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
this is getting stupid. I'm starting to hate this story, but okay. So number 4, Sony has announced that the PlayStation 4 has sold 5.3 million units. This was between November 15th, 2013, and February 8th, 2014. They had predicted that they were going to sell 5 million, or they wanted to sell 5 million by the end of the fiscal year, which was March 31st, 2014. So we are a month and 2 weeks away from that, and they have already passed it. And later this week, on February 22nd, the PlayStation 4 will be released in Japan, its home country. So
good for them.
That is awesome news. Really good news.
Not surprising news.
No, not at all. But it's not surprising news because they've been announcing, all the milestones, the 1 million in 24 hours and 4.3 or 4.2 million in a month and a half or whatever. And what's also not surprising is that over the last month and a half, it's only sold another million. So it's slowed down significantly, which is not a big deal because there was no games coming out, And so
right.
Now that we're getting back to where they're going to be releasing games like FIFA next week, even though that's cross-generational and multi-platform, it'll still probably sell a few more units, and then in a few weeks after that, Infamous Second Son, and that's going to sell units.
Jesus,
that's going to be crazy. We're going to start getting up to where when they're releasing games, it's going to pick back up.
And Japan.
Yeah, and absolutely. As soon as it's released in Japan, it's going to skyrocket. I think anywhere between 500,000 and 1 million within the first 48 hours.
I think what's going to be interesting, especially after the Japan launch, is the fact that, especially next month, say when this big game for the Xbox One coming out called Titanfall hits.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
Really? It's
Yeah,
a little company, Respawn, no big deal. They don't have. It's their first game.
Oh, okay. Well,
Respawn's
Something
first
about
game.
it.
maybe I should look into that.
It is untested studio. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Any jokes aside, it's gonna be interesting because I guarantee you, Microsoft's gonna be putting a very interesting spin on the numbers come next month. I don't think anybody's gonna doubt that Titanfall's gonna sell Xbox Ones.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who were waiting for that game to buy one.
That was that was my original threshold. I was going to buy one when Titanfall came out.
Yeah,
Now I can't afford it, but
alas. Anyways, sorry. Focus. The fact is, it's going to be interesting because I guarantee you, Sony, numbers-wise and hardware-wise, I'd predict is going to have a much better next couple months worldwide.
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
I think what you're going to hear and the stories you're going to be hearing come next month is going to be Microsoft trumpeting that they are trouncing console sales here in North America because that game is going to have such a huge impact here.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's going to be something like the MPD story about the PlayStation 4 in January. It's going to be, the Xbox One nearly doubled its competitor for the month of March in the U.S. It's going to be something like that. And we're going to be like, oh, shit, that means we did really bad. And then when they release the numbers for worldwide, we're going to be like, oh, we actually sold a shitload. Never mind. And I say we, I mean Sony,
Well, it's kind of accepted that Sony's going to beat Microsoft in like any place but America. So.
Yeah, worldwide, absolutely.
Sorry, Microsoft.
I mean, I'll say Microsoft had a great strategy for Europe, bundling FIFA in with their launch, but evidently that didn't. According to as far as I understand, that didn't really pan out as well as they hoped it had. But it's a solid idea.
I heard the PS4 was outselling the Xbox One significantly in Europe, so that was it was a good idea, very good idea, but didn't pay off because you could get a PlayStation 4 and FIFA for less than you could get it on Xbox One.
Xbox, where's like the Gaelic football game?
Gaelic football game.
You mean like rugby?
No, it's kind of like rugby and football, but there's a lot more blood and less pads.
Like monster football?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so let's move on. Johnny, you want to cover number 5 since you wrote up a story on it?
Sure. The Last of Us documentary, Grounded, is now free on Amazon streaming. Basically, this was the documentary that got released if you had the season pass for The Last of Us on the PlayStation 3. You could only watch it on the PlayStation 3. And now, if you have any sort of Amazon device that you can actually watch their stuff on, you can download it and watch it anywhere in HD or in standard def. Have you guys had a chance to look into any of this at all yet?
I have not watched it, but I did buy it, so I'm ready to watch it.
Fantastic.
Probably this weekend.
The guys who made it, I've been following for a long time now. If the listeners have been following gaming press, there was a site called 1UP. It's now long gone, unfortunately. God rest its soul, pour one out. And they were one of the first gaming websites to do consistent video content. And the guys who started doing the stuff for them created the 1UP show. It was a really interesting thing, 30 minutes, multi-game format. Really proto video for a lot of the stuff the websites are doing nowadays. Once 1UP went under, they formed their own company, Area 5, and they've been doing gaming-related stuff like this for years now. The last big thing they did before Grounded was the I Am Street Fighter documentary, which was the one that Capcom commissioned for them. It's about an hour and 45 minutes. It's all on YouTube now. And basically, it just chronicles the history of that and the influence it's had in arcades and in gaming culture as a whole. These guys know what they're doing. Grounded is fantastic. I mean, it really takes you into the inner workings of a game studio, and Naughty Dog at that. So, I mean, obviously, really well known. Yeah. It's, gold level, platinum level, AAA studio here, right? And just sitting in and just basically being a fly on the wall. And they were able to film literally from the entire beginning ideas of the game through its completion. So, I mean, you get the full picture of how this AAA title came to be and sort of the mindset from the marketing to the music to the actual game design itself.
I'm so excited now.
And captured. I mean, they use filters, so it's super hipster, but in a good way. Right. But point being, it's definitely worth checking out. If you like Naughty Dog's games, if you like documentaries in general, it's worth looking at it. It's a really great. I mean, it's only like an hour. I think it's an hour and 40, hour and 30 minutes somewhere in there. But it's totally worth checking out.
And you've seen all of it?
I've seen the majority of it. I need to watch the last little bit. But yeah.
Right.
Oh man.
Okay.
Last of it.
Ah.
The Last of Us for all of us.
That's the only comment I can make because I haven't played it.
Ah.
Oh.
Yeah, do you know
sorry.
what I was wondering? I have to watch it, but maybe they have some stuff in it that references Left Behind. I don't know if they were planning it that early on, but it'd be really interesting to see if you could pull some stuff out of there that you wouldn't have seen when you originally watched it.
I mean, the one thing about, not getting into spoilers for Left Behind, obviously. Did you guys? Not yet, right? I know. Did you guys ever follow up or read the American Dreams comic?
No, I didn't have a chance to.
The Left Behind actually picks up after American Dreams, and American Dreams was being written during the creative process of the game proper, as like background info for Ellie specifically. And so, I mean, to the extent that the comic is there and it's sort of mentioned, like, yeah, and things like that. I mean, there's that there and sort of that groundwork, but nothing specifically about Left Behind is there. That was something they sort of started working on after they'd finished the game proper. Just to be like, hey, all right, now that we're done, they took a smaller portion of the team to go ahead and then tell this sort of separate story at that point.
Okay, cool. So yeah, everybody should go watch that. It's free, right?
Free is good.
Free is good. Free is always good. So Lou, you want to handle the next one since you wrote about this?
Sure thing. Strike Suit Zero Director's Cut was announced today for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, as well as the PC. It was released a little over a year ago on the PC. I believe it was January last year. It was originally a Kickstarter project, which did get funded. The Director's Cut will feature a restructured campaign, all new ship models, enhanced lighting and textures, and a ton of new suits and heroes. For those who don't know, Strike Suit Zero is kind of like a space shooter mech kind of thing. It looked really interesting based off the video.
A lot like Zone of the Enders.
It's going to be available for $20 digitally, $19.99 to be specific. And yeah, that's everything.
I'm interested in the game. I didn't know about it until you wrote the story or whatever, and so that was pretty exciting. I'm definitely going to grab it for $20. That's not a lot.
That's a very attractive point.
Yeah.
Right. And
Probably.
the other thing, I was looking at the reviews for the old like IGN reviews and what they were saying on Metacritic, and it sounds like the biggest issue wasn't the fighting; it was just the story and the campaign and all this stuff. So if they're going back and fixing that stuff up, I can't imagine why it won't be a much better game for it.
Definitely. It also had probably one of the best soundtracks of the game last year. Had really cool Middle Eastern vibe to it. It was nice just sort of I would let it sit on the menu for a while. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, so you played it, the original one?
I watched a lot of videos on it because a lot of my friends, I can't do PC gaming. Unfortunately, I have a Mac and it's an older one at that. But I have a couple friends who I will bum off of on occasion, where I will go to their place, and I was able to watch them play for a little bit. And yeah, I mean, just that was one of those games that visually it was really good, but as a musician, I was sitting there and I was just taking in more of the audio. Fantastic stuff there.
Awesome. I'm pretty excited. Did it have a release date? I don't remember.
Sometime in March.
That's what I thought it was. Awesome. That's next month. Yay.
More money that I don't have.
Exactly, right? Well, if you don't sell that lens to pay for an Xbox One, you could buy this. Why are you showing me a meme? Okay. Well, anyways, so next on the news.
I'm not showing you a meme.
You were totally showing me a meme. Killzone Mercenaries received 2 new free multiplayer maps. They are Tharsis Depot, Blood Grok or something. Grok. They're apparently fan favorites from Killzone 2's multiplayer. They will be a part of an update and not as DLC. If you have the previous updates installed, it will require 167 megabytes of space. But if you do not have all of the updates, it will require 526 megabytes. So that shows that their updates are working for reducing the size.
I really like it when games like they're able to port like old maps.
Oh yeah, I do too. Like Halo, I loved it when they brought in the old maps.
Yeah, like I've been able to play like Valhalla from like Halo 3.
Yeah.
It's really fun still.
Oh yeah.
Because I actually
absolutely.
knew that map, and now I can play it again.
I liked Blood Gulch and stuff from like the original. I think it was original, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was from the original, and then they brought that back in Halo Reach as Hemorrhage.
Yeah, exactly. I love that shit. I don't. Do you guys play Mercenaries?
I don't.
You don't.
Xbox.
That was simple. Johnny, do you play Mercenaries?
I don't. It's been on my pile of shame. I've been meaning to pick it up. It's been on sale a couple times, and I've just never. No one's ever pushed me off the cliff to go ahead and do it. I'm just like, I should. No, okay, the sale's over, and I'm like, oh, it's too late. I've come too far.
I grabbed it for $9 or whatever a few weeks ago when it went on sale, but I haven't played it yet.
I almost bought it then, but I ended up buying a Blood Dragon instead.
Oh, I bought that too. So I bought like 7 or 8 things.
Nice.
I was like, oh, it's all cheap. I need to grab it all now, even if I never play any of these. Oh, whatever.
Do you like the this Killzone better than the console versions? Because I played the console versions, and I felt the controls were a little obtuse for like an FPS.
Wait, what? What are we talking about? Mercenaries?
Killzone in general.
Oh, well.
What do you mean by obtuse?
Over 75 degrees.
You're
Yeah.
fine.
I can't remember exactly what it was. It was one of my first games I think I got when I eventually got a PS3. But I remember finding it weird that you had to hold down a button to aim at things besides... I don't know. It just seemed a lot more difficult to control than the standard first-person shooter.
I would disagree. I mean, I was basically raised on first-person shooters, although I don't like them as much anymore. I played all the Call of Duties and Medal of Honors and Killzone and Red Faction or whatever, like all these games growing up, and I didn't think there was really any problem with Killzone.
What about that like sky diving level?
That is not a first person shooter mechanic. We're not talking about Shadowfall. Fuck that.
Did you not like Shadowfall?
No, I loved Shadowfall. I hated fucking Mission 7 or 8 or whatever, where it made you fall out of the sky and glide through the buildings that are falling everywhere.
Yeah, no, it was pretty terrible. I'll give you that.
The worst fucking scene. Like, why would you throw that in there? I died like over and over and over while I was live streaming it, by the way. So I had like 20 people laughing at me because I couldn't make it past it.
He was testing you.
By like my 3rd or 5th death, I just started pretending it was a Rocky and Bullwinkle episode. I was just the flying squirrel, and I just started like doing bad Russian accents the entire time. Like, oh, you can't make it through a building, you know. And so it was entertaining for me. I might have been drinking.
Oh well, that would definitely make it easier.
You had to complete like the mission for a fearless leader.
Exactly.
Is anybody a Ragnarok Odyssey fan?
I'm a fan of Ragnarok, the event.
Really funny. You're funny. You're always so serious about it. Like everything has a real part to it. Like I can't. I don't know how I'm trying to say this. I can't speak.
Well,
the words.
to be fair, Ragnarok is like an epic event in Norse mythology.
Yeah.
Fenris lives at 2 houses down from me. The big white wolf. Just saying. Ragnarok? Come on. Oh, come on. Fenrir. Did I say Fenris? Yeah, it's Fenrir. I don't know Norse anything.
He's supposed to kill Odin. Then Odin's blind son is supposed to like snap his jaw in half.
Oh my god.
Then the world servant is supposed to like kill Thor. Then I think Frey's supposed to kill that guy. And then there will be like 3 gods left.
Well, anyways, now that we got that out of our systems, Ragnarok Odyssey Ace has a release date on PlayStation 3 and Vita.
It has nothing to do with Norse mythology.
Absolutely nothing to do with it, I'm pretty sure. It comes out on April 1st in North America. There is no release date for Europe. It is a Monster Hunter-like RPG. It will be available at retail and digitally for both PlayStation 3 and Vita. It will cost $39.99 on PlayStation 3 and $34.99 on Vita. So if you like hunting monsters and stuff, then definitely get this game. I've heard this has a lot of promise. I don't think the first one was very good, just Ragnarok Odyssey. I think when I was looking into a bunch of Vita games, that was one of them, because it has a bright blue cover and it was all pretty looking and stuff. So I was like, ooh, that looks fun. And then the reviews were like, no, this game is shit. Don't play it. It's horrible. I'm pretty sure. If I'm making that up, then I'm sorry, Ragnarok Odyssey. That is my bad. But you suck. So, and you guys don't know anything about it? Or not? Or what?
No, I've heard like just people talking about like Monster Hunter JRP or like RPGs.
Yeah.
And then that'll always come up, but I've never played it, so I just...
Well, you don't have a Vita. You don't have any money.
No, I don't have like... I'm not like a Sony player really anymore.
Oh. Drawing lines, are you?
I'm sorry that I was given an Xbox and that
Fair
I
enough.
played it.
What about you two East Coast guys?
What? Yeah, the distance, never mind.
Yeah,
Shut
that's
up,
East.
shut up.
Thank you, Brendan.
Cardinal directions are my strong point.
Neither are words.
I really haven't seen much of it other than what's been on the IGN newsfeed. I'm not necessarily excited for it. If it gets good reviews, I might try it.
Yeah.
I enjoy Monster Hunter, so
You did enjoy Monster Hunter?
yeah. I mean, it takes a while to get into, and that's what everyone says. But yeah,
Okay, fair enough.
Honestly, I had heard this from the original one mainly that had some pretty interesting mechanics. That you could sit there and you much like Monster Hunter, you gain abilities and whatnot, but you had the ability to like sacrifice in Ragnarok, the ability to sacrifice your companions and the creatures you've captured to cast like higher spells, things like that. And so there was like a interesting mechanical sense that it's like, okay, do you want to keep your guys around, or do you want to go ahead and waste them to actually give you a more powerful like instant ability? So this, I mean, I remember some vague talk about some interesting mechanical stuff with the game, but beyond that, it didn't really hit my radar all that much.
So we misspoke, and it actually does contain a lot of Norse mythology elements, apparently.
Thank God for Google.
Yeah, I just Googled it. Our bad. Yeah. Well, anyways. No, I don't know. Those type of games always seem fun in theory to me, but every time I try to play one, I've never really had a lot of fun. Because I played, what's the Ragnarok Odyssey look-alike? It's that one where you fucking reading a book. It's like telling you a story. And, fuck, I don't remember. I'd have to look at my trophy guide. It was that bad.
Soul Sacrifice?
Yes, Soul Sacrifice.
That's the one I was thinking of. But yeah, the whole sacrifice, that's from Soul Sacrifice, hence the name.
I thought that's what you were talking about, but I didn't want to interrupt you in case you were really right and I was stupid.
No, seriously. Just call me out on my nonsense. It shows you how much I know about my monster collecting JRPG.
Okay, let's correct it then. Ragnarok Odyssey is a real-time action RPG in the similar vein to the series Monster Hunter. The game retains many elements typical of RPGs, such as item collecting, health and magic, it says item collecting twice, crafting, interaction with NPCs, and a class system, but no leveling system. Missions in Odyssey are received at guild halls and usually consist of collecting items and killing enemies. There are 6 interchangeable classes, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so it sounds like an RPG. Good times. So hopefully it's a really good game.
I mean, I want to buy it now after that.
Yeah,
pitch,
see?
I tell you.
I thank you, Wikipedia. You are amazing, yet again. Yeah, so next on the news, Johnny, you want to cover number 9?
Oh, sure. Why the heck not? Infamous Second Son. The install size of the game has now been revealed. It will require 24 gigs, according to the back of the game box, if you were to believe such things. And the full box art was posted on PlayStation France, their community board. But as we all know, you can never trust the French, so take that with a grain of salt. Is this really news, or is this sort of like fact of life? I mean, Killzone was what, 50 or 45, something like that?
Something like that.
I mean, relatively speaking, 24 is not that bad.
Yeah, I was saying Killzone was, let's see, it's right here, 45. And then I think Call of Duty was similar as well, and I think NAC was also like 30. Call of Duty was 49. So yeah, we're just pulling them off my shelf right now. 24 is not that bad, and it's a first party game, so you think maybe that they know how to control the size of their game, or the files and everything like that.
Definitely. I mean, more likely they're just probably putting more on the disk than they are on the hard drive.
Yeah.
And just keeping it that way to keep the install size low. But I mean, this is sort of like, okay, that's good to know. I'm glad it's not going to be taking up that much space on my hard drive.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's all we need to cover for that. Fuck it.
Moving on.
Moving on. Wolfenstein, The New Order. Has a release date now. Okay, that was awesome. Thank you for that. Bethesda has announced that it'll be released on May 20th for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and PC. I'm getting sick of them releasing it on both last gen and current gen. Like, just fucking move on. Just go.
Write a letter to them.
Hey.
Too much money.
Strongly worded
Too
letter.
much money. They leave it to
I
table.
know,
They
I
can't
know.
do it.
Especially Bethesda, you know? They might as well not even release it on PlayStation 3 because it's going to suck on PlayStation 3. Bethesda just does not like PlayStation 3.
I'm kind of surprised Wolfenstein has been running as long as it has been.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm surprised this game has not been canceled yet.
Yeah, you fight like a mecha Hitler in like the first one.
Yeah.
I think that was in Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Yes.
Oh, I'm
think.
sorry.
I can't wait. I don't know. This game looks awesome. But that's not the only news about the release date. They also announced that those who pre-order the game will get access to the Doom beta, which no one really had any idea about until now. So apparently there's going to be a Doom beta. There's no information on when that's going to be, on if it's going to be on release when Wolfenstein comes out or anything, or when the actual release of the game is going to be, or what the title's going to be, or anything really. But
It'll probably be Doom.
But it's going to be Doom, and it's going to be a beta, and you're going to get it if you pre-order. So
You're going to fight random aliens and stuff.
Yeah, I remember playing the old Doom, so that's cool. But yeah, so you guys going to play Wolfenstein and Doom beta? Yeah? No?
If I have the money for it, I'll get it.
Oh, okay. I feel like you always find a way to get money for stuff, so
My loans.
whenever you want something.
Unfortunately.
Does anybody still care about Doom?
No,
Like,
I
honestly.
don't. I don't care about Doom
just,
at all.
Yeah, I mean, Doom 3 was, like, taking over the coals for not letting you hold a flashlight and a gun at the same time. And I think...
they made a
they're-
mod. They made a duct tape mod.
Really?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
you could download. You're like, oh, I just taped a flashlight to my gun.
No, I lost all interest in Doom whenever they released the movie with The Rock. We were just talking about that earlier.
Like
that's a
half the
guilty...
movie was a line. What?
Yeah.
That was that last 15 minutes of that movie is like one of the best guilty pleasures of cinema like ever, where they're just like, let's do it in first person. Just 20 minutes of this. You won't get sick. It'll be totally fine.
It's funny because I was actually just listening to an old Game Scoop episode, like, I don't know, like 27 or something, way back when they first started, and they were talking about the Doom movie. And I was like, oh, what a coincidence. Today this was announced, or yesterday it was announced, or whatever. And yeah, they were talking about how the script was like, it was written in third person or whatever, like a narrator would the entire script until you get to the last 15 minutes or whatever, and then it just switches to first person. And just like, oh, I am. It's just like, oh my god. I don't know. I liked the first few games of Doom, but I'm gonna have to see something about this game before I get excited. So just knowing that there's a beta is not really exciting.
Definitely.
But the
Like I said,
Wolfenstein is. I'm excited about that.
What you're saying is that you're going to get into the Doom beta.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pre-order Wolfenstein, so because I like anything historical and alternate history and stuff like that, and
Like
and
Hitler in a
alternate future.
robot suit.
Fuck yeah, I'm all about that. So
I'm expecting that in Captain America 3.
That'd be nice. Him and was it Walt Disney were frozen in time or whatever? Or
Yeah,
as a robot.
No.
Walt Disney's frozen under the Enchanted Lake.
Walt Disney's going to come back to life, and then he's just going to be laughed at for his anti-Semitic views. Everyone's going to realize, oh, this guy was kind of a dick.
And he kind of was. Oh, so Lou, you want to cover the last one?
Yeah, I'll wrap this up, seeing how I was supposed to write an article about this and just never did.
I was wondering about that.
All right, the caption here is Atlus is alive. Sega has decided to create two subsidiaries out of Index Corporation. Index Corporation originally incorporated Atlus into them, and I believe the old Atlus was Index Digital Media, and that was Atlus USA. Now this is getting confusing because Sega split them up again and remade Index Digital Media into Atlus USA. Atlus is going to be in charge of essentially all of the gaming aspects that Index used to do, and Index is going to be in charge of all of the business aspects or various other media aspects. Yeah, they will be officially formed as of April 1st, 2014. And for those who don't know, Atlus is the famous Japanese developer known for bringing over Japanese games and porting them to the U.S., like Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, and Catherine.
Catherine, yes.
That was a fantastic
Love
game.
Catherine. So yeah, basically Atlus is alive, like he said. That's awesome.
Which is great because they're the only profitable branch of Sega so far.
We'll see how long that lasts. Fucking Sega. No, this was a ongoing story for the past several months. It was pretty depressing that Atlus could be shut down and all that. So it's really good to hear that they're gonna have rights to make video games, their video games again, and be a company, be a developer. So that's cool. Good news. Very good news.
Right.
Nobody else play Atlus games? Anybody?
Nope.
Dude, I'm so just deep dived into the Persona series. It's ridiculous. Like, I have played so many of those games, and I've thought about diving into some of the mainline Shin Megami Tensei stuff, but yeah, I played Catherine. I'm still going through another run on Persona 4 right now on my Vita. Super looking forward to Persona 5 whenever that hits. I'm so disappointed. I mean, I'm excited, disappointed because they said that game's going to be hitting this year for Japan.
Yeah.
But localization can be a bitch, and so we probably aren't going to see that game on a PS3 in America until like 2016, 2015, something like that.
Suck, but it's probably true.
Probably.
I haven't. Here's a confession, a guilty confession. I wanted to play the Persona games, and so I actually one of my friends recommended Persona 4, the animation, so it was the anime. And so I was like, oh, I'll watch this. Yeah, hell yeah. I don't know if I'm ever going to play Persona 4. And so I watched it, and now I know the entire story. And so I have Persona 4 Golden, and I started it, and I'm like, oh my god, I know everything that happens. I can't keep myself going.
But see, you don't know what friends you're going to make. I mean, you might
I
join...
know there's options. I know that, but it's just... I know who the bad guy is. I know what's going on.
Well, see,
don't ruin anything for me.
I'm just saying, you need to figure out if you're going to go to soccer club, if you're going to go to basketball or
I joined
choir.
basketball. I played 5 hours of it.
Dude, whatever, man.
What is wrong
basketball? You gotta play soccer.
You Kansas people.
Yeah, Kansas, exactly.
Right now, we're
freaking Naismith
even
all the way.
You should get a job at the hospital.
Kansas right now.
What?
We're gonna outnumber you soon.
I was just saying, you should get a job at the hospital. The nurse who works there gives you a really nice social link, and she's sort of pervy. It's pretty funny. She's the night nurse.
Oh,
okay, wait.
It sounds like a failed superhero.
I started jumping into Persona.
She's a Marvel comic character.
Go on, Lou.
Right. I started jumping into Persona, and apparently I did it wrong because I started with the original. And apparently the original is super hard to get into unless you have a lot of nostalgia for it. Is that true, or should I just not jump into 3 or 4, or do you think it's different enough that I might enjoy it?
1 and 2 are really hard to get into nowadays. Mechanically, the game has progressed like quite a bit at this point. It is hard to go back and play those. Just from a graphic standpoint, I mean, say what you will, but we all love newest, latest, best, shiny things. And those games didn't age as well. But mechanically, yeah, no, they definitely don't have a lot of the advancements that make specifically 3 and 4 a bit more playable. If you're wanting to get into it, starting with 4 is not that bad of an idea. I actually went backwards. I started with 4, went back, played 3, and then I dabbled in the first, and I was like, whoa, no. It's like, we have come too far at this point. But 3 and 4 are definitely really approachable. Mechanically, 4 is a bit more sound. It's a bit more easy to pick up and play once you figure out what's going on. You really don't get the full picture of what actually you're doing and like how to do it until maybe 5 to 6 hours into 4.
Yeah.
And that's just because like you don't really do much battle or combat. A lot of it is dialogue for the first couple hours of the game.
Right.
Just sort of setting up the world and stuff. But once you get into it proper and you're like, oh, that's what this is about. That's why I'm doing all this stuff. It makes going back specifically to 3 at that point a lot easier because you're like, okay, I see what they're doing here. And 3 doesn't have much of a tutorial set up at all. And so sort of knowing what you're doing and having sort of the tutorials of 4 tell you, it makes that one a bit easier to play. And like I said, you can then start sort of hopping back at that point where it's like, oh, I see what you're trying to tell me to do, but you're doing it poorly.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, because that was my issue with 1 was they just kind of threw you into battle and they're like, "Hey, if you want, go ahead and talk to these guys."
I mean,
And
it's
I'm what?
I'll say, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I sat there. I don't think I actually battled anyone. I just talked to people continuously, and that can't be good for my leveling.
I was gonna say the same can be said of like even the old Final Fantasy games. You could pick up Final Fantasy 1 or just Final Fantasy and just wander into a area of the game that you shouldn't be in. And,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll just get slaughtered, and it's like, okay, classic RPGs for you, you know. I mean, so it is easier just to pick up and play those newer ones, but they're definitely worth playing. The story is really cool; it can really draw you in. But the fair warning, I mean, you're looking at some significant time sink into this thing. Minimum
100.
if you want to get the full thing. Yeah, I mean, I think you can probably get through Persona 4 if you're just sort of blazing through it, somewhere between 50 to 60 hours, maybe. Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Yeah. Well, we said at the beginning, we're gonna go through the news fast, and it's been like 50 minutes, guys.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, this is a typical podcast.
Oh, it's because you jinxed it. Clearly.
Can we wrap up the news now?
Yeah. All right. Let's move on.
Okay, move on to our topic of the week. Irrational Games. Who wants
Rest
to
in
set this
peace.
up? Yeah. Anybody want to set it up with the news about it first? Lou or Johnny want to cover that?
Sure. Here's what happened, everybody, in case you aren't in the know. Irrational Games, company, a studio that made most famously BioShock and BioShock Infinite, not really shutting down, getting to a smaller, more manageable size team of 15 people. You're looking at a studio that was a couple hundred at its peak, going down to 15. Ken Levine, the guy who runs it, or Levine, I think it's Levine.
Levine.
There you go. Ken Levine basically being like, I want to have something a bit more team that's we can sit there and change at a whim. I mean, and that's just sort of his style of creation. Is he likes being able to just flip a switch and do something different. But basically, Irrational Games as we know it no longer exists. He's like I said, he still wants to work with Take-Two, do some smaller, more creative projects, as he put it. But basically, that team that made Infinite is now basically gone.
And didn't he also say that there was always his future games are only going to be downloadable?
Yes, he did. He basically said on the record, yeah, he basically thought the disc-based media is sort of out the window at this point, and he wants to create these small, more intimate game experiences that'll be just download only.
Yeah, him and Cliff Bleszinski, both of them have said.
Yeah,
that
I was going to say, I'm
Cliffy
pretty
B
sure
said
that's
that,
Cliff
yeah.
Bleszinski.
They both are getting on that bandwagon. A lot of people are. Not too surprising, but
Yeah,
I thought Cliffy B had retired.
Yeah, I think.
Well, from fucking whatever.
Epic.
Epic, yeah.
But he
he's
still
actually-
likes talking.
Oh yeah, he talks.
He's actually working on something right now. He's been keeping it under wraps for all. He released a bit of concept art for his new project. I want to say like 3-4 months ago. It was just like a dude in a canyon, which is really telling of what that game is.
So what
But
you're
he
saying
has
is
been-
127 hours the game.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
my god,
That's a
that
good
would
reference.
be the best worst game.
Yeah, just sit there. Just sit there. Try to get out. Click buttons.
It's like press X to cut off your arm.
Yeah.
The whole game is just one QuickTime event.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's what-
thinking. Just a huge QuickTime event.
That's when you want those Xbox One trigger rumble. So like that force feedback when you're trying to cut through the bone.
And the Kinect also, so it can hear you scream. Ah! You really have to act it out if you're not hitting those notes. Oh, by the way, Harmonix is also working on this with him. Yeah.
No, it's like Don't Starve, where you have to contain the one bottle of water you have.
Okay, well, that's a little bit of a tangent, guys.
So Irrational Games gone.
Yeah, Irrational Games
Thoughts?
gone. This sucks in a sense that I love BioShock. I didn't until about a year ago, but I love BioShock now. Which that doesn't mean that BioShock won't continue into the future. It could.
They still got the one in March is still going to be released.
The what?
The
Burial at Sea.
Burial
part
at
two.
Sea.
Oh
Part
yeah,
two.
yeah, that's DLC, absolutely. But that doesn't mean that the BioShock, the actual series or whatever, won't continue. I think that I don't know if they still own the rights to the series, if Irrational does or not, or is it 2K that owns it? Is it?
Not too sure. I'd probably probably lean more towards 2K as the
Yeah.
publisher having that.
I was gonna say,
But-
I think 2K could probably just ship it out to another developer to make the next BioShock game, because I don't think BioShock's a
that's what-
moneymaker. You know, why would they
I
not
mean, and that's what they
continue?
did with BioShock 2. That was made by
Yeah.
2K Marin, not by
Not by
Irrational.
Irrational.
Yeah, but we see how that turned out.
It was a good game, just the story was kind of shit.
Did you actually play Minerva's Den?
No, I didn't get to play it.
I hear that was fantastic.
I know
That was
so did I.
great.
Well, it was Steve Gaynor. Come on.
I'll say that's by the guy who made Gone Home. So
Yeah. Which we actually interviewed. If you didn't know that, did you know that?
I did know that.
You did know that.
That was
Okay,
like
good.
episode 3 or something.
Yeah, it was episode 3. That was a proud moment. We haven't interviewed anybody since then. Oh well.
Nope.
We'll get back to it. Oh. Well, we haven't interviewed anybody for the podcast, that is. We've interviewed people, just not on the podcast.
Like a blonde nerd.
Yeah, and others.
All right. So
what do you think?
Is there good news to this, really?
Well, I mean, Ken Levine is still making games. That's good news. It's absolutely good news. And he has a small team, which I'm assuming he handpicked those 15 people. I'm assuming those are the best of the best, the people he wanted to work with, the people he could work with. And so I assume they're going to make some kick-ass downloadable games.
Right.
They're not going to be on par with BioShock, probably, because they're not going to be huge AAA, releases or anything. But I think he's still going to release good games.
They're going to be working on Fallout Bird.
Fallout Bird,
Flappy Bird.
Flappy Bird's Fallout version, Fallout Boy version. Exciting.
Yeah, I just feel really bad for the people who worked on at Irrational Games. That's what, 85 people being laid off?
At least, I don't know. Probably.
Yeah. It really just makes me wonder. I want someone to do an interview with him. I know that they had a small piece on IGN today, and I'm not sure if they asked him too much invasively about the situation, but I am wondering why he didn't necessarily just sell the whole studio instead of fire. Yeah, like what he could have left, or I presume I have no clue about the financials of Irrational or 2K or what they did work out, but I'm wondering why they didn't just sell the studio to another publisher, or why didn't Ken Levine just leave and they appoint a new head to Irrational?
I don't know.
Irrational was always his studio.
Right.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, it was where he's been working since he left Looking Glass out
17
in
years.
Texas. Yeah.
Right.
So, my thoughts would be, if he wasn't there, there is no Irrational Games. Like, that studio's designed and has designed games around his vision, like, for good or for ill in a lot of cases. BioShock Infinite didn't do as well sales-wise as 2K would have hoped. It did well enough, but for all the marketing they put into it, and more importantly, the development time, because if you remember, that game was delayed multiple times.
Yeah.
Got premiered probably far, far before anything of that game should have ever been shown.
Yeah.
I think it maybe had like a 3 to 4 year dev cycle on that one. Which is, for that game, was great, because obviously it gave Ken the time to go ahead and actually get what he wanted out there. But at the same time, from a purely business standpoint, you can't, unless you're a rock star and the game is Grand Theft Auto, you don't really get that sort of time nowadays. You don't get really sort of that sort of budget, that sort of money, unless you're getting that sort of reward. And BioShock just, unfortunately, didn't do that. I don't think Irrational had any aspirations to that game doing that well. But I think 2K probably had hopefully something in mind.
Well, I think I remember Ken Levine saying specifically that he wouldn't be happy unless BioShock Infinite had the same acclaim and pervasiveness as the Harry Potter series, which is pretty impossible.
I didn't ever hear that.
Oh, that was a quote I remember from some interview.
Interesting. Wow.
In the IGN interview that you mentioned, Lou, he basically says that he's been working straight for like 17 years on AAA big budget titles, and that does wear on you, that gets to you. And so, after hearing sort of what he was saying, and frankly, just sort of knowing how the cycle goes. I mean, studios get larger in the middle of development; they get smaller at the beginning and the end of development cycles. I mean, that's pretty normal. But sort of hearing where he's coming from, I think this makes sense. It's unfortunate because I think a lot of us would have loved to have seen, if not another BioShock game, like a new IP from that studio as a larger team to see what they might do.
Yeah.
But I think this is something that more. I think this comes as a decision more of what something that he needs to do more than maybe 2K to a certain degree at least.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I think he's like tired of the giant AAA rat race, which is really, I think, driving a lot of our big name developers out of the game entirely. I mean, when's the last time you heard anything from a Warren Spector?
And I mean, how many in other professions as well? You look at other professions, how many people are really in the same profession or doing the same exact thing, you know, their entire working career or their entire adult life, you know? He's been there almost 20 years. That's a long ass time. He probably is worn down. So I totally understand where he's coming from. That makes a lot of sense on why he would want to switch things up and make things less stressful, probably.
Definitely.
Which is part of the reason why we switched websites. It's less stressful on the new one. The other one was kind of oh my god, it was hell. Anyways, so are you guys disappointed more than, or are you enthusiastic about all this? What are you guys thinking? Like, what are your final thoughts on this? Anybody, not all at once, but anybody. You guys are exciting.
Having a moment of silence for our dear friends at Irrational.
Pouring a little bit of water out on this side.
You mean beer?
Nope. Switch to water.
Okay.
Is it on carpet?
No, hardwood. So it's even worse.
That's what she
Okay.
said.
Don't tell my landlord.
My final thoughts are, it's upsetting that we're not going to see Ken Levine make another BioShock game, but I am excited to see what he's going to do next. So
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all had similar feelings, albeit the studio didn't close down when Peter Molyneux sort of left Lionhead. I mean, it's like, oh, that's unfortunate because he sort of was a distinct visionary at that studio. But yeah. I don't think his last two games have been all that amazing, but I think it's been good for him as just a way to stretch his creative chops. I think we're going to see some really interesting things coming from Ken Levine here in the next couple of years.
I agree. And he'll probably have games out quicker too if he has a smaller team, wants to make smaller games and stuff like that.
Guerrilla game design. That's where it's at.
Okay. Well, I feel like this is kind of just dying. A lot like Irrational. Too soon?
Of course it is.
Too soon. Let's move on to listener questions. We still have a shitload to go through, but we've gone on for quite a while now, so we're not going to answer all of them again. We could still get to them later. We will save these. But there are a few of them that just came in within the past few hours, so we can go ahead and answer those. From Trevor on Facebook, he asked, if Titanfall wasn't an Xbox exclusive, would it be even further behind the PlayStation 4 in sales?
I'm assuming he's referencing the Xbox, not the Titanfall.
Yeah, he is referencing the Xbox.
Yes. Is that
what?
Is that a discussion? So yeah, is that a discussion? Of course it would be.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think it's obvious. That is the system seller for Xbox One right now. That is absolutely it, and only it is going to sell units for a while. So,
but it's got Skype.
It's got Skype and NFL, which isn't in season yet,
and Star Trek.
Oh, Star Trek, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. It wouldn't hurt it, like it wouldn't cut their sales in half, but it would significantly reduce it. They would be a lot further behind.
Right. It's not like I don't think it's as important as the Xbox ecosystem is, like having the continuation of your friends and your achievements. But it's out of all the games, that's probably paired with Halo for the most influential at the moment.
See, I don't even know if Halo holds that spot anymore.
Not anymore.
Because I mean, if you saw the stats, the player drop off on Halo 4 was incredible, and
huge.
I think
it went off a cliff after that game came out.
I played it for a month and I was done. What? Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not a fanboy. I like Halo a lot. I didn't play Halo 4 after a month. It was just like, okay, I'm playing the same fucking maps over and over, and it's just not as fun as it used to be.
Well, after
To be
about a month,
fair-
they started coming out with like more like things
Yeah.
for Spartan Ops.
Where I had to pay for stuff, and I
You
didn't
don't
like
have to- you
Spartan
don't have
Ops.
to pay for
I didn't
that.
like Spartan
It's
Ops.
free.
Spartan Ops was lame. It was a mission-based thing, co-op missions.
Spartan Ops was pretty terrible.
I was like, what the fuck
Are
am
you
I?
kidding me? It's better than Firefight.
You're dropping us into this random place and supposed to, believe what these people are telling me. Just random people. I did not like it. Firefight was fun. Firefight was waves of enemies. It was just like, all right, get this bazooka, go in there and just fucking destroy people. That was fun. Spartan Ops sucked.
Just watch the cutscenes.
Yeah, I just wanted to know the story, really.
You can do that.
Not without
Without
playing
playing
it.
Spartan. No, you can watch the cutscenes. Yeah, just
You
watch the
can?
cutscenes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, fuck it.
All right. How about the
Even
next
those are pretty
question?
good. Yeah, what do we got?
Okay, from George on Facebook. He asks, you're on a desert island. You have unlimited electricity thanks to a coconut generator developed and left behind from the professor from Gilligan's Island. And you can only have one gaming console. What would it be and why?
Do we get as many games as we want that's on the system?
I'm assuming you have, like, the network and you could download them. But you can't contact anyone for help.
Wait, is it current systems or?
Any system. It doesn't matter. Just assume we have futuristic internet where we can get any game we want, or we just have a crate full of every single game on every console, or on that console.
Well, console's gonna have the Bear Grylls survival game.
I mean, that was on the 360 and PS3. So, I mean, if you choose that one, you can learn how to survive.
I can learn how to buy a hotel for the night behind the scenes.
Ah.
I know that was such a letdown when I found that out. That's a tangent. This is it's because I'm an old man. I'm going to go with the Super Nintendo.
Good
Hands
choice.
down.
Good choice, yeah.
Hands down. It's just you have games like Chrono Trigger, which keep you occupied for hours because there's multiple endings. Of course, obviously some of the best Final Fantasy games out there. F-Zero, the king of racing games.
F-Zero, I loved that game.
F-Zero, original one, can't beat it. You got, I mean, obviously there's Super Mario World, which is really a poor man's Super Mario 3, but I won't hold it against it. And more importantly, you get Street Fighter, and that's even if you're by yourself, it's good. It's a good run. So I mean, Super Nintendo, to me, oh yeah, and Link to the Past.
Oh yeah.
You can buy a Wii and like buy all those. So
On the virtual console?
yeah.
Okay, hold on. Isn't that cheating though?
Yeah, that's technically
I
cheating.
feel-
That's a
I
loophole.
feel like-
That is a loophole.
Games.
I mean, because at that point, the Wii Virtual Console has Sega, TurboGrafx. I mean, it has
Would I be allowed
just about all of
to
it.
emulators on
No,
the PC?
no,
Gosh,
no. You can't find a loophole. You have to pick one, draw
You
the
are just-
line in the sand. You're a fanboy for what?
360.
You're going to pick 360.
What?
Screw you guys.
I judge you so hard right now.
He's going to be playing Fable and Oblivion for the rest of his life. Oh, and Skyrim,
Gotta
I
be
guess.
chainsawing those worms and Gears 2.
Yeah. Hotness.
Delicious.
Oh, he threw down his headphones. He's done. He's butthurt.
Trying to hate us to death.
If I had to choose, I think I would choose the PlayStation 1 because that's where my nostalgia comes from. Like I grew up on the PlayStation 1. Well, I grew up on the Super Nintendo and Nintendo as well, but the PlayStation 1 was the one where like I was turning like 7 when we got it, and so I'd really finally been able to play a game by myself. And so I'd been playing like Digimon games and Crash Bandicoot and Croc and Tomb Raider and all these games, and so like I have a lot of fond memories from PlayStation 1. So if I could have like the entire catalog of PlayStation 1 games and a console that would last forever, I think that would be the one I would go with.
It's a good choice. I can't fault that. I mean, that'd be a close second for me. Like, I have a lot of really just fantastic memories. I mean, as cliched as it is and as easy it is to hate on nowadays, I still have a very soft spot for like Final Fantasy 7 and 8 on the PlayStation 1. You just sit there and you're just like, man, like I sit there and I still play through both those games about once a year just because, I mean, all the nostalgia there, it's like, man, good times. So I'll give you that. I mean, it's no SNES.
Well,
But
yeah, we'll see. And the Super Nintendo would be my second, so it's kind of like we're just
There
opposite
you go.
or whatever on that. So.
exactly. Lou, where are you at, man?
I am gonna pick something different. I'm gonna go for Nintendo's hidden gem. the GameCube.
GameCube. I knew it. That was
Because
my third option.
I could sit there and literally just swap between Animal Crossing, Soul Calibur 2, Super Smash Bros, and Mario Kart forever. I would only need those 4 games.
Well, I was thinking about the GameCube because I was thinking about Super Smash Brothers. I was thinking about
But you have no one to
Wind
play
Waker. Wind Waker. Yeah, that's true.
Double Dash. I don't care. I'll sit there and make friends with the sand. I don't know.
Harvest Moon. Yeah, be a farmer. That was one of my favorite games on GameCube.
The Congo. What's that one? The one where you have to
Donkey Kongo beat.
Donkey Kongo. Yeah,
Oh.
I had all that.
Oh man,
The moment you said Animal Crossing, I just tuned out. I was like, nope.
not happening.
Not at all.
If you're stuck on a desert island, just nothing
Stuck.
for the rest of your life, you'd rather still not play Animal Crossing.
No,
At
fuck
least
that.
things change on a
So,
day-to-day.
I mean, basically what you're telling me is, Johnny, you have the choice of monotony on your island or monotony in this fake town full of animals who speak gibberish.
Yeah,
It's like
you at least have fake friends.
So you're saying you would play it?
I choose hunting.
you know what? I will live in my sad little world and still avoid Animal Crossing. Though KK Slider is a pimp. I'll give you that. The dog plays the guitar. Yeah,
I got you.
Oh, hey,
hold on,
your quality's
hold on.
bad again.
Wait,
Yeah, wait.
we good?
Wait for it. Hold on. I fill time. So we have decided we have one Xbox 360, douchebag. We have one Super Nintendo. Oh God, he punched me. Ow. One Super Nintendo, one PlayStation 1, and one GameCube. So,
I mean, it makes sense. There's a lot of. The PlayStation really was just going to be an add-on for the Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
and the GameCube followed on. Basically, that line of 3 makes sense. It's a good choice. I stand by that the Xbox was a mistake.
yeah. Brenda doesn't
You
even want to
can't-
talk.
You can't hit me. I'm in North Carolina.
Bitch. Okay, I'm not gonna say that anymore. He's gonna hit me again. So next one is from Raymond on Facebook. He said, "March is upon us. Discuss the excitement."
March Madness, you say?
Spring break for people who have that.
I only assume that he's talking about Infamous Second Son. Like that's all I can assume, but I don't know. Maybe he's also talking. He has a Vita, so maybe he's talking Final Fantasy X. Well,
Guys, we're missing the biggest game in March. South Park, The Stick of Truth.
Oh, that's true.
Oh man,
Forgot
Courtney's
about that.
not excited for that, but
No,
that is
what?
on my top.
I don't like South Park anymore. So
Well then,
I
I
grew out of it.
can't help you with that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hurtful.
no, I grew out of it. Family Guy, Futurama, like all that stuff. Like right when I graduated high school, I was just like, not really funny anymore to me.
I graduated South Park when I watched an episode right before I went to church.
Oh,
It was like, what am I doing?
yeah.
If you want to feel really dirty, watch Drawn Together.
Ooh,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
that's fucked up.
They should bring that back.
It's like, that's fucked up. Bring that back.
We like it.
I was a fan. Let's kickstart that.
So yeah, March is gonna be fun. A lot of games.
Yeah.
That little indie project, Titanfall. I think we talked about maybe. Yeah, that might be big. Maybe.
I mean, March is Christmas 2.0, you know?
Right.
Everyone's been getting their taxes back. Good times. Okay, let's end it with a question from Dennis because we can't go a podcast without asking a Dennis question, really. He asks, do you think the PlayStation 4 will overtake the PlayStation 2 in sales?
Ooh.
No.
No?
Nah.
No. The PlayStation is... Go ahead.
How many did the PlayStation 2 sell? Do you guys know? Have any
I'll look
idea?
it
More
up.
than you can shake a stick at.
I know it sold a shitload.
Wasn't it like
I
the
mean,
highest selling console ever?
Oh, why did I put
Yes.
this word?
It is still considered the highest console, and
155
Yeah,
million.
that's what I thought it was 150 million. So, yeah, I don't think it's gonna do that.
So in like 30 years at this rate.
No, I heard an analyst say that they think that next gen consoles will break 100 million, but I don't think 150 million. I don't think that's even possible anymore.
I mean, I think a lot of the PS2 had to do with the right place, right time. I mean,
Like the
for
Wii.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, when the PlayStation 2 was in its heyday, PlayStation was as synonymous with video games as Nintendo was the generation before it.
Yep.
I mean, people said, I'm going to play Nintendo, and they could have meant any game system when the NES and the SNES were the big thing. And I mean, the PlayStation 1 started to change things, but specifically with that PlayStation 2, though, people like, yeah, I'm going to go play PlayStation. And it was just PlayStation meant video games. And I don't think you're going to see that sort of groundswell and that sort of just large scale acceptance of a console, I think probably ever again.
Do you know what,
honestly.
Johnny? I'm actually going to disagree with you, but just on your reasoning, I think it was because this at the time, right place, right time, but it was the cheapest DVD player you could find. Essentially,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
That is
that's
true.
also true. I mean, I won't say that's wrong either. I mean, no, like that's, yeah. Fact is, you could pay a couple $100 to get a DVD player, or you could pay like, just 100 less and get that PS2 there. I mean,
They can also play
Sony
games.
stealth. Yeah, I mean, Sony stealth marketed that. I mean, they tried to do the same thing with the PlayStation 3 as a Blu-ray player, and I mean that
Just
the
never
problem
took
that
off.
backfired. Yeah, I mean, fact of the matter is that it was just because the PS3 was so dang expensive when it launched.
Yep. Ridge Racer. Sorry.
Why has that not come out yet? Anyways,
Oh, okay, so yeah, I don't. There's no way it's gonna crack 150. Okay, what are you guys playing this week?
this week, Tomb Raider. Still,
Definitive Edition on the PlayStation 4.
yep.
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
It's
so
very
good.
good.
Laura Croft is so good. Mhm.
Careful when you get to that beach. It's where I hear the save file issues happening. In case you hadn't heard that, that's
I
the
hadn't,
thing.
actually.
Did you guys hear about the save issue that was happening across a lot of the games about a month or so ago?
More or less.
Yeah, Tomb Raider got hit by it as well. I actually lost my 70% complete save file. I was about a little over 3/4 of the way through the game. Just can't touch it now, so I had to restart over again. And I hear there's a couple consistent points in the game where it might happen. You should Google it and find out. But that's such a good game, though. Oh my god,
Yeah.
such a good game. It looks so well. The frame rate increase does wonders for it.
Well, I mean, even the original, just Tomb Raider, without it being the definitive edition, I loved it when I played it last year. So it's a great game.
All the
Yeah, I
polygons you could ever want.
Ah,
It's true.
all the Laura
Yeah, I mean
Croft.
that game looked way better than it deserved to on a PlayStation 3 and 360
Yeah,
last year. I mean, I remember when I actually played it on my 360 at the time. Obviously, I'm doing my PS4 now, and I remember just playing through it and being like, "Oh my god!" Like that game just deservedly made to a lot of people's top 10 lists for last year, and just for a lot of different reasons. But the graphics surely was one of them, though. I mean, gorgeous game.
I agree. Did you say what you were playing, Johnny?
Did not. I'm gonna delve into the PS Plus hole and probably check out Remember Me over the weekend.
Plus hole.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you can take that one. Take it to the bank. It's an original. But no, like that was been one of those games that I've been debating getting at some point.
Yeah.
I'm a big supporter of games that aren't that great but have really good style.
Yeah.
and it's like I will look past bad mechanics if the narrative or the way the game is, the presentation is good. So I mean, I'm a sucker for Enslaved.
Enslaved was awesome.
Enslaved was fantastic. Mechanically, it was okay. It was all
it's just
right,
okay.
but the way the game looked fantastic and the story was really interesting. So Remember Me sort of falls into a similar category. This Neo Paris
I've
memory
played both of them
recombining.
recently.
Which two? Enslaved
and Remember Me.
I see.
And I kind of in the same way as you. If it has a strong enough story or interesting enough plot or something something just cool about it, then I'm gonna give it a shot and I'm gonna be okay with it and stuff. But Enslaved, I was pleasantly surprised by. I came away from it like, wow, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. Remember Me, it's really interesting. It's a really cool, really interesting plot and premise, like the whole memory thing. That is really cool. But it couldn't, I don't know. You'll have to play it yourself and see what you think. But
yeah, like I said, I'll get back to you guys on that one. Like I said, there's I think a phrase that internet personality Jeff Kanata uses. He says, "More fun than good."
Yeah.
And so like I'm a fan of that sort of thing where it's like I know this game is sort of bad, but I'm having a really good time with it. So I mean, sort of like my experience with going back to something I mentioned earlier, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Game's not that great, but it just sort of oozes enough style and stupidity that I'm like, all right, no, like this is great, fine by me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what everybody thought about that one.
It's like you're in an 80s action movie.
Yeah, show. Brendan, what are you playing?
Probably Fable.
Probably Fable some more. Yeah, are you enjoying it?
Oh, wow.
Good times. Good times.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Finally getting to play. It's the first time playing the first Fable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you played 2 and 3, same way as me. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Fable Anniversary whenever I finally have free time again. We'll see when that happens. I don't know, whatever. I'm playing Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13, so that's cool, I guess. I put up a opinion piece or whatever editorial at my first reaction or initial reaction after 20 hours of playing it. So go ahead and check that out, I guess.
I was done with Fable by that point, and you were putting out your initial reactions.
Well, Final Fantasy games are significantly longer than Fable games. I'm sorry. This
Does
is why
it
I don't
take,
have time.
Does it take 20 hours for it to get good?
No, it took about 5. Because I mean, it's good initially because it's immediately an open world. You know, like it's not like the previous 2 games. You really do have unlimited options the second you start the game, basically. But that being said, there are so many things that you have to learn how to do in that game that it's almost overwhelming to begin the game. It's so complicated that you kind of feel like an anxiety. Like I was nervous, like anxious about everything. I was like, oh my God, what if I do this wrong? You know, am I going to mess something up? And so it took me about 5 hours to finally get comfortable with the mechanics of the game, with the way time was working, the way the new battle system was. But once I finally was, and I understood how the quests work and everything, and the timeline, I was just like, oh my God, this game is really good. And so now I've just been powering through it, like having so much fun. It's a really good game, at least so far.
Nice. Like I said, I've heard the one big thing about this sort of trio, the Fabula Nova Crystallis. I know it's so fancy and Latin-y. Said is that, I mean, I played Final Fantasy 13. I got 2/3 of the way through it, and I was just like, no, I can't do this anymore.
You need to go back.
That's what everyone tells me, but I'm like, it's just so much effort.
13 is still underrated, in my opinion, by the popular fan base. But also, you played the original Final Fantasies first, so
yeah,
there's a huge difference there.
Like, I'm coming from a totally different mindset, I know. Don't get me wrong, like, the one thing I did notice about 13, and the one thing that's kept me curious about actually going back and trying this one, that just came out, obviously, and then 13 too, is I've always heard, and like I said, from what I experienced to the 13, the battle system's actually good. I like the battle system. I enjoyed that. My biggest problem with 13 was it was a cutscene, a long and beautiful hallway, fighting, long and beautiful hallway cutscene. There was very limiting when it came to what I was able to do as a player outside of that battle system.
Did you make it to Grand Pulse, the planet?
I got to it, and then I was like, oh, I see. And I was like, this is where it becomes the Final Fantasy that I enjoy.
Yeah,
and
I was going to say, that's where it opens.
I was like, but at that point, it had already burned so many emotional bridges for me.
Yeah, at that point, you're 30 or 40 hours into the game. That's
exactly.
a long ass way.
I mean, it's like you know, it's the abusive relationship. They're like, it finally buys me flowers, and I'm like, no, it doesn't matter.
It's
I'm
over.
done.
Fuck this.
Like, I'm done. I'm walking.
Oh, I get it, but so yeah, that's what we're playing, I guess. Everybody answered, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep. All right. Cool. So let's move on to game releases this week, so we can wrap this up. On PlayStation 3, you have the excellent NASCAR 14. I am not a NASCAR fan. I'm sorry. Left turn. You also have Strider, which I've heard good things about. I'm not, I haven't heard a whole lot, but I've heard good things about it. And Earth Defense Force 2025.
That's gonna be fun.
Is it? Is that sarcasm?
No. It's actually a fun game.
Oh, really?
Like Earth Defense Force.
Oh,
cool. Co-op bug killing.
Yeah, giant bug killing.
That reminds me of was it the movie Space Invaders? Or no, that's like
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. Yeah. Why did I say Space Invaders?
Eight-legged freaks.
Exactly.
That's a great movie too.
On PlayStation 4, Rayman Legends and Strider. And on Vita, Monster Monpiece. So yeah,
That's that dirty game. Oof.
Ooh, I actually kind of want to download that now.
I have no idea what it is.
Not
It's-
because it's dirty, but just because I've heard so much about it, and I do like card games. So,
It's a
I've
card
heard
game.
Courtney, it's a collectible card game where the cards are like basically anthropomorphized female monsters, and you turn your Vita sideways to where it's vertical in front of you, and you can swipe the screen, which takes away clothing for some reason. I don't know. It's weird.
I'm looking
But-
at pictures. Oh
It's
my God.
being it has been censored. Some of the cards have been censored for the American release.
Oh yeah, since we're totally not dirty over here compared to Japan.
Not dirty
I
enough,
know.
at least.
Have you seen Japan lately?
There's a lot of flashing lights over there. I can't pay attention.
That's true.
I will say this: I'm looking forward to playing Strider like a lot. I love the original arcade game, and I'm very much stoked to give this Metroidvania style game a go again.
Yeah, see, I never got to play the original Strider, so I knew nothing about it. I've only heard the things about it recently.
A lot of people actually know him nowadays, less from his original games and more from his inclusion in the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting series.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So, Brendan, Xbox 360.
Turn left 500 times the game is coming out.
Ah, yeah.
Strider and Earth Defense Force.
So the same as PS3. That's
Yeah.
exciting. And Xbox One looks like the same as PlayStation 4. Rayman Legends and Strider. Exciting. Oh, okay. Well, we'll let Johnny cover our PC game.
Because great, I'm seeing this list. It's fantastic. Banished, Dusty Revenge, NASCAR 14 because you want it on everything. Strider, my personal favorite that I'm going to spend my money on, Drunken Robot Pornography. And according to our list here, tons of others. I'd like to tag on, it's Steam. It has everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was this huge list, and I got to Drunken Robot Pornography, and I was like, I'm ending here. I'm not going to add on the rest.
I almost feel the need to look into this game.
Yeah, I'm actually about to Google it. So,
just to be like, so not what you think it is.
all right, Nintendo Ninja, what do we got on Nintendo?
All right, I forgot to mention this game in my what I'm playing this week segment, but definitely on the Wii U, I'm going to be trying out Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It's the only thing Nintendo's been talking about for months now.
The heck was that?
Yeah.
Wait, what
Are
happened?
you buying it?
I am going to buy it, probably.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, you're gonna have to let us know how it is. I used to play the Donkey Kong games. Like I had them all on the Super Nintendo. So Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Country 2. What was it?
Congo Jungle?
Was that it?
I think
I
that
forgot.
Was, I think that
Diddy
was
Kong,
Yeah, it was the same as Diddy
uh,
Kong, wasn't it?
Diddy Kong's Quest, and then Dixie Kong's something.
Whoa.
I can't remember.
Right.
Okay, so.
But of course, this is being done by Retro, so it's going to be fantastic.
So I googled drunken robot pornography, guys. A lot of cool pictures of weird the game, whatever it is. I don't know I can't explain what it looks like. But if you scroll down far enough, there's a naked lady. So
don't Google it.
Make sure safe search is off.
yes, good times. So
Okay.
3DS.
So, continuing on. 3DS is going to have Eterno Blade and Weapon Shop Deomase. And Weapon Shop Deomase actually seems very interesting if you guys looked at the Nintendo Direct. It's essentially Weapon Shop Mama, like Cooking Mama,
Yeah.
where you create weapons for these other characters who are like standard RPG players. You know how there's always a weapon shop in every RPG? You run that weapon shop.
Huh.
Weren't the other two free-to-play games released this week on the 3DS? I know one of them was like the Steel
believe so.
Diver shooter.
Yeah, the FPS Steel Diver and
The Rusty's Baseball.
I think Rusty's
something.
maybe put off for a while. I think that might
Okay.
be April, but I don't know.
I know the Steel Diver. I'm pretty sure the Steel Diver thing is out.
Yeah,
It's
that
positive.
dropped day one.
Weapon Shop is a level 5 game?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Level
Now
5
you
is
have to
my
play
shit.
it?
Yeah, now I have to play it. Level 5 is my shit. Trailer
He
coming
lives.
soon. Damn it.
He lives in a rogue galaxy in his own dark world.
Dark Cloud. Oh.
Damn.
With my fucking Drippy, Nino Kuni.
It's just such a great game.
Oh yeah,
But-
absolutely.
We digress.
Okay, so anyways, we are just totally going on too long. So that wraps up episode 20. Remember, we record on Wednesdays and release on Thursdays. We always ask you, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, anything, email us at mong.podcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. On Facebook at Middle of Nowhere Gaming Mong, all one word, and on Twitter at Mong Podcast. Our website, middleofnowheregaming.com, you can find all the latest blogs and stories, news, reviews, everything like that. Our podcast is on the site and is also on iTunes and now on YouTube every week. So you can check out any of those sources. They're all on the website. You can find all the links there. You can find us all on Twitter. I assume you can find Johnny on Twitter. I'm not sure. I think so. I think I followed you, actually.
You did.
Yeah, okay.
I'm socially savvy.
Good. You can find me at Osborne_2009. You can find Brendan at
Brendan Jester.
You can find Lou at
Lou Cantaldi.
and you can find Johnny at
Errant_thoughts. I know, it's not my name. I'm John Smith. I can't ever do my name. I have to do other witty stuff.
Okay. Well, anyways, so yes, if you want to stay and listen to the argument that is about to happen over The Last of Us Left Behind.
Oh God,
then-
we still have that.
Then keep listening after the little jingle at the end. If you do not want to listen to that, then shut it off now. But we are about to probably verbally rape each other. That's going to happen. Ooh. So, until next time, those of you who are going to turn it off. Mong?
Mong.
Swag.
After having a 30 or 40 minute spoiler cast between Lou and myself, we found out that it somehow stopped recording like the moment we started the spoiler cast. So any of you who were hoping to find the spoiler cast next, clearly it is not here. So instead, I'm going to leave you guys with a few funny lines, a few funny quotes that were said before we started recording the actual podcast. So, just keep listening, listen to the hilarity that we are, and make fun of how stupid we are. Sorry again for not having the spoiler cast. It's pretty disappointing. Maybe we'll write something about it or record it again this weekend. Who knows? But again, thank you for listening. Oh, fuck. I didn't come up with a fucking nickname for Brendan again. Damn it.
You can just call me Brendan.
But that's not fun. You're not Brendan. You're something silly or something. I don't know.
Let's see what else you could. Let's see. You
Whatever.
could call him.
I don't know. I'll
He's
come up with something.
let's see, your fellow cattle wrangler at the Brodeo.
No.
I know. There's a long shot.
Broside, Broside and King of the Broshan.
Bro Chacho.
Lord
Brendan,
of the Broshan, I'm sorry.
Brendan, your brosiah and savior.
Oh, jeez.
He's laying his head
I'm
down
going to
in
be buried
his
at
arms.
Brogoth, the place of the skull.
Whoa, that got dark.
That's a theology joke.
I wouldn't understand it.
Of a broserection in 3 days.
Okay.
I'm not good at jokes.
I'll be heralded in by Gabriel.
Ooh, that's
I'm lost, but I like it.
it was mentioned earlier by John the Baptist. That one didn't work, but I'm still proud of it.
Claim it.
Courtney, it's not rape if I want it.
Oh, really?
Whoa!
Cut that part out, please.
That's our ending.
No, yeah,
Put
that's
the music
that is
here.
that's definitely going right after the music.
You're going to say that soundbite, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm saving that one.
Yeah, if this was more legitimate, I could sue for sexual harassment.
Yeah, but you're not my employee, so.
I do have you listed in my phone contacts as boss man.
That's awesome.
Does that count?
Sure.
Sweet.
If you're gonna sue me, I was gonna say if you're gonna sue me, no, it doesn't. Take it back.